Hello, everyone, and welcome to another evening of beautiful music here on From the Top. I'm your host, Peter Dugan, and we've got great stuff for you tonight. We heard from some sisters recently, but now we're going to be meeting twin sisters, which I think is the first since we started doing these live premiere events. And these two are amazing. We actually all grew up together in the Philadelphia area. We intersected at various local music school events and concerts. So I've known these two for a long time. It's Sabrina and Genevieve Tabby, from the Philadelphia area originally, but they're coming to us tonight from Iowa. And these two are amazing. They have a really eclectic program for us tonight, which, if you know anything about my musical taste, you know that's right up my alley. So I'm particularly excited for this. I'd like to encourage all of you to get into the chat section, tell us where you're watching from, and let us know how you're enjoying the program. These are some of our illustrious alums. They're not teenagers anymore, but they still play with this joyful, youthful energy and spirit, and it's just going to be a great show. So let us know how you're enjoying the program. And without any further ado, please welcome them. Here's Sabrina and Genevieve Tabby. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The Tabby sisters. Why don't you guys, tell everyone who you are and where you're coming from right now, where you're tuning in from.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, we are the Tabby sisters. Tabby twins.
Tabby twins. And we grew up in Philadelphia with Peter. And right now, we are in Davenport, Iowa. And
Middle of the country.
This is my living room. And I moved here last year. Been here actually a year with my husband. And the two of us work with the Quad City Symphony Orchestra. He is the assistant conductor of the orchestra, and I play in the violin section, and we actually both won the audition in the same month, 2 weeks apart.
Wow.
And now we both live here. Do you want to come say hi? Here he is.
Nice.
Hi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for opening up your living room for this concert. Jen, how do you don't just sleep on the couch there?
You know, well, the past couple of days I have, although I do live in Chicago, which is
Right.
only like a 2.5 hour drive. So I was able
Nice.
to come up and visit. Yeah.
That's awesome. The piece that you guys just played, for those who aren't familiar with that, talk a little bit about what you played and who arranged it and all that.
Sure. So this piece is one called 𝐒𝐥𝐿, and it's called Trip to Pakistan. But it was arranged for these two Celtic superstars named Alistair Fraser and Natalie Haas. And so that arrangement is just straight from them, and we played it.
Yeah, it's a collection of so many duos for violin and cello. And as twin violin and cellists, we are always looking for music to play together.
Yeah.
And it's certainly out of the standard repertoire, but I mean, some real awesome nuggets. And you can find their arrangements to buy online. It's pretty cool.
Right.
So amazing.
Yeah.
So when did you two become interested in playing Celtic music? How did that all start?
That's a good question. We're definitely both classically trained, and we went to undergrad and grad school for cello and violin performance in classical training. But it was after grad school that I was introduced to this really extravagant, very virtuosic Celtic playing, especially for cello, and specifically Natalie Haas. I listened to her.
A lot of some extended technique.
Lots of extended techniques, lots of chopping, which is some of the things I was doing. There's some slapping.
She's the master of that.
She is the master, and
so she kind of fell in love with her music.
I did.
And you were like, she became this idol.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 summers ago,
yeah,
you got to go.
Oh yeah, 2 summers ago I got to I got to go to Scotland and go to a festival and study with both Alistair and Natalie, and I'm just I'm now hooked, and I'm always trying to play more arrangements by them, and even take their stuff and write it for us, maybe for string quartet. But we'll talk more about that later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the beautiful thing too, is when you find someone who is sort of a musical idol. At first, it's essentially copying, and then you start to just kind of absorb elements of that person's style, but then it meshes with your own voice,
subconscious,
and
totally.
and that's how you develop your own personal vibe.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about you, Sabrina?
All of my exposure to this kind of Celtic music was through Jen.
Oh, cool.
And I mean, it's so you don't meet a single person who doesn't like Celtic music.
Seriously,
it's something. So
okay, so I grew up playing Celtic music, but not on the piano.
Oh my gosh.
Wait,
What?
so I have show and tell. I know you guys have surprise show and tell, but I do too.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Oh, is that a drum?
Is that a hand
Yeah,
drum?
so this is a bodhrán. This is the Irish drum.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
wow.
Oh my
And,
god, we should jam.
We should. I don't think we can do it over Zoom, and I don't play it that much in the apartment because I don't know how the neighbors feel about it. But I do love Celtic music, And
Oh my goodness.
I met Alistair and the Haas sisters like by chance a week ago for the first time.
Oh
Yeah,
my
we were playing on a
goodness.
show together, an outdoor concert together. Like back first they went, then I went, but it wasn't like we didn't jam together, sadly, and I didn't
yeah.
have my bar on with me. But anyway, it's just such a small world, and they're
That
they're
is
awesome,
so
you know.
crazy. They
That's so
really
cool.
are.
Yeah, they're a violin cello sister
Yeah.
combination.
They are. They are.
Exactly. So, you know, that kind of pivots to the next point, which is what's it like playing together as sisters? I know a little bit because I have brothers who I play with, but
Yeah.
I don't have a twin. So I feel like that probably intensifies the vibe. But, you know, how long have you guys been playing together? And is it always easy? Is it ever hard?
It's not.
It's definitely. I
Always-
think it's.
Okay.
Oh, you go.
Well, I mean,
you were gonna say different answers.
I think it's hard to. It's probably easier more often than it's hard, but it's not always easy. And
Fair.
I mean, but I was going to say that it's for me. It's so much easier than playing with just anyone else because you have this like telepathic, you know, communication. I can see on her face and through her eyes like what she wants, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas other people, you're not really sure. You're like, do you mean that or do you mean this or what?
Right.
But usually for Sabrina, I can spot that
yeah,
right off the bat. You can also just kind of blurt out exactly what you feel.
no filter.
No filter. You
No
don't have to be all
filter.
nice.
Yeah, no polite.
Because yeah,
Could we maybe try this?
there
you
is
know,
a language when you are working with musicians where you do have to be respectful and
Yep.
you know because it's
I
it's
like
your
what you
personality
did,
coming through.
but could we
Right.
try?
But with the sister or
I
the
hated
twin,
that. Can we do something? Can
Yeah.
we try this? Yeah.
But with the twin, you could just be like, no, that was really bad. You know.
Yeah.
Let's try this
There's
again.
something
Yeah.
refreshing about that. And I think really, you know, when you have a duo or a trio or quartet with people who you've known for a really long time, you can get close to that. You know, you can
Yes.
approach that level of honesty, but
Right.
maybe never really totally
Yeah, not
get there.
100% without like fear of ruining the relationship forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we'll never ruin our relationship through chamber music.
There have been a few times where there've been major fights, but
nothing irreparable.
yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about when you were first on From the Top. I think it was 2006, which is right around the time I was on the show. I think you were actually on before me, but yeah, talk about that experience. What do you remember about it, and what was going on, you know, in your heads and hearts during that whole time?
Well, sorry, let me.
So first of all, like where was your show? Where was your show taped?
Yes. Oh, so our show was the radio show was in Columbus, Ohio, and we were playing with our string quartet at the time in high school that we played with all through high school.
Yeah.
And with the Smith sisters.
Yeah, the
Kaylee
Smith
and Madeline.
sisters. So there's two sets of.
Oh my gosh!
sisters.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Of course.
and
And at that time, Chelly was like a regular on
she was
on From the
roving
Top.
reporter.
The roving reporter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
And I remembered for that Columbus show, there was Battle of the Bands, but it was like Battle of the Quartets, and it was a string quartet of all girls and a string quartet of all guys.
Uh-oh.
And I think we won.
We may have won. I don't know. I can't remember.
Of course.
Yeah.
But that was so much fun. I mean, I was like so excited to be
we
a
were
part of
pretty
it.
starstruck to just be involved. We grew up hearing about From the Top and listening to the radio show on Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
Yeah, the prodigies get to go on.
Yeah,
you
so
know.
to be on it ourselves was felt
Well,
special.
It sounds like you guys, it sounds like you had a typical experience in From the Top, just in as much as it was fun and it was more about the excitement of it than the sort of pressure and the competitive quality, which
Yes.
I mean, that
Definitely.
happens. So there's so much of that for teenage musicians. It's like, it's great that from the top we get to provide something that's
Right.
a break from the
Yeah, you
from
don't
the
hear us saying we
cutthroat.
were so nervous.
Oh no.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then actually later that year, or perhaps in early 2007, not quite sure, we played again for From the Top's PBS TV series
Right.
at Carnegie Hall. Also
Right.
with Serafina Quartet, with the Smith sisters.
Serafina. That's right.
And that time we performed a composition by a young composer who had won a competition for her piece. And so we had to learn that. It was, kind of an interesting experience for us to learn a contemporary piece for string quartet and, make it work.
Yeah.
And
that concert or that show had these like all these names. They had
Kevin Alusala was on the show, Charles Yang and Tessa Seymour.
Right.
Are all like really big names
Yeah.
now in classical,
Yeah.
in the classical world at least. Well,
All
Kevin
stars.
Alusala, all stars.
He's broken through into the mainstream pop
I know.
world too.
Oh my gosh.
He's out
and
in
and
the
Charles
stratosphere.
Charles is on his way too.
Oh, yeah.
In the in terms of the mainstream sound that him and Time for Three are creating
Right,
these days.
Yeah, for sure.
But so okay, before we get into another piece, I understand you have a little show and tell. I showed you, the drum. So what
Okay.
do you have for me?
Let's see it.
Yes. Oh.
Okay, so
look
we're
at
gonna take
that.
you
Wow.
down memory lane with the Tabbies. Right back to, this is probably circa 1992. We were playing together.
Aw.
Can you guess who's who?
Yeah.
No,
No?
I
Okay.
have no idea.
Genevieve is on the left, or she's the one standing. I think the orientation is that way. She's the one standing pushing me in the shopping cart.
I have the darker
She has
hair.
slightly darker hair. She still
I
does.
see.
Um,
Oh my gosh, precious.
And then, this is probably around age 4. I think I have some missing teeth. We probably both do.
Yep.
And here, the both of us are
Sleeping.
absolutely conked out. Looks like there was some kind
These
of
are
a party,
amazing.
and we just partied too hard.
Yeah.
And then,
Here's the first, probably one
This
of the
is-
first pictures of us
yeah.
playing music together.
Playing chamber
string,
music.
String music.
Because we look about 8 or 9,
Mm-hmm.
and Genevieve started cello when she was 8. I started a year and a half before that on violin.
Yeah.
And,
Wow, yeah.
it's playing chamber
Now,
music
okay,
from that
this
age.
this is the time period that I remember
Yes.
you guys from.
Yes.
This was our intersection.
Yes.
It's a very
This is
dramatic
this is
photo.
in Rittenhouse Square.
Rittenhouse
Love
Square
Nice.
in,
Rittenhouse Square
in
in
Philadelphia.
Philly.
We were like playing some kind of a event,
Yeah.
Right.
like fancy. And these are the Smith sisters. And here's us on
The Carnegie Hall show.
Carnegie Hall
from
show.
the top.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also a dramatic shot.
It
Seriously.
was dramatic.
Wow. That was a
Yeah.
nice kind of trip
Well,
down memory lane.
Yeah.
Expedited trip.
And now here you are, and we're in this kind of sentimental mood now after seeing those pictures. So you've got something a little soft and sweet for us.
Yes, we do. This is an widely appreciated, loved piece called Ashokan Farewell. It
Yeah.
was the composition by 𝐒𝐥𝐿, used in the Civil War documentary by 𝐒𝐿, and it's just, sounds like America. And
Yeah.
it's an arrangement that we sort of formatted ourselves. So, a Tabby
Beautiful.
arrangement.
There you go.
All right. You haven't heard this in a long time, but whenever you're ready, take it from the top.
Oh.
That was so beautiful.
Aw.
Beautiful arrangement too. I love that cadence on 4 right at the end. You know, that's
Yes.
like it kills me every
Oh,
time.
Well, thank you.
For those of you just joining us, that was Genevieve and Sabrina Tabby, twin sisters who are alums of From the Top. If you're enjoying the program, maybe you would consider clicking the donate button there. We certainly would appreciate it. As many of you probably know, we're a nonprofit organization and we're financially independent from NPR. So your support really means a lot and it makes it possible for us to do what we do and to keep bringing great young classical musicians from all around the country to a national audience. And we really appreciate your generosity. It keeps us going. So now I know that you two were on From the Top as part of a quartet. We established that. We saw the photos to prove it. But you guys are still in a quartet now. It's a new quartet. And I want to talk a little bit about what you all are up to. How long have you all been playing together? Fill us in.
Sure. So right now we started another quartet about 4 years ago now. Just as we were all in the Chicago area finishing up our grad school, and we were in this apprentice orchestra called Civic Orchestra of Chicago.
Right.
And we all kind of collectively wanted to play music that was just like, there was a whole world of music out there, and string quartets mainly have a very small little
Piece of the pie.
the
Yeah.
pie. It's
Right.
beautiful music, oh my goodness, but there's so much more out there. And so we have been playing a lot of music,
Yeah,
world music, even pop and
Right.
indie
Without, like-
and folk and okay. Sabrina wants to stop.
And jazz and
Jazz.
without dropping a name too big right now, with the Civic Orchestra of Chicago, their resident artist at the time and for many years was Yo-Yo Ma, and he would do all these workshops with the musicians of the Civic Orchestra,
Right.
and most of the workshops were to get people kind of out of that box, out of the
Yeah.
box that we've been so squarely in through music, through school, which, you have to be in that box to some extent just to, solidify your skills.
Yes.
But it was very much kind of inspired by what he does with the Silk Road Ensemble and
Sure.
all these kind of spin-off groups.
Mm-hmm.
That was like, this is what we want to do too.
Yeah.
And sort of
Yeah.
make it the string quartet this vessel. And a lot of what we do actually is collaborations. So we're like a string quartet unit that collaborates with another artist, sometimes
Nice.
a singer-songwriter, across all genres. Our very first concert together to really break out of that box was in the middle of the ocean, of the Mediterranean Sea, on a cruise ship. We were representing Lincoln Center in their
Oh, yeah.
At Sea concert series
That's
called
right.
Lincoln Center
Lincoln
Stage. That was the first gig that ATLYS secured, actually, and the very first concert. Like, we did not perform a concert together until our time on the ship, and we ended up spending 13 months total, not all at once,
Yeah.
but
Over
13 months
400
total
times.
performing concerts at sea. And so 3 concerts a night, 6 nights a week adds up. We have over 1,000 concerts together because of that experience. And now we mostly tour around this country, and a little bit internationally. And we have music on Spotify, and it's really fun. It's been such a trip.
Yeah.
And it's ATLYS spelled with a Y.
Yes. ATLYS.
Right.
Right.
So everyone watching, go check out, ATLYS with a Y, and listen to their stuff. It's great. And, you were talking about playing 18 shows a week, on the ship. I feel like I was just talking to someone about how that kind of gigging lifestyle that's much more common in, for example, like the jazz world than the classical world. It's too bad because we learn so much from it. I know. Do you guys know 𝐒𝐩𝐿?
Yes.
Yeah,
Listening
of
to
course
our
you do.
podcast.
Of course you do. No, yeah, that's where I heard it, actually. I
I
think she's
know.
talking about it on her podcast.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is sorry, everyone watching. This is an amazing violist / stand-up comic who's a friend of ours. And she was talking about how for a stand-up comic, that's the way you learn. That's the way you get better is you just put
only way
yourself
you
out
get
in front of an
better.
audience and you
Yeah.
just go again and again and again. And
you bomb. Like,
yeah.
you have terrible
Right.
You're gonna mess up.
experiences, but then you have some great experiences in those push
right.
forward.
And so, like, how cool would it be if we could have more of that in classical music, where every time you go to, play your Bach suite or whatever, it's not like, oh, I've played it once before, or I've
Right.
played it twice before, but it's like, no, I've played this literally thousands of times.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So, anyway,
Wonderful experience.
well, that's awesome that you guys are doing that. As you know, I'm a huge proponent for breaking outside the box and stylistically. Do you feel like it's more common nowadays than when we were all teenagers to see young people experimenting outside of classical music?
I think it's much more common now. Although, I mean,
How young?
growing, yeah. You mean young people like
Like-
us or like younger than us?
No, I mean, like, guys, come on. I'm
Maybe
talking
we're
in terms
old.
of from the top standards. From the top standards, like 18 is getting
Ancient.
up there.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I'm talking about like because we have a lot. We have every week we're meeting new young teenage classical musicians.
Right.
I find that so often they seem to be more open to experimentation than I feel like a lot of our peers were when we were that age.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, growing up, like some of our big time idols were the guys in From the Top. Time for Three.
Right.
And they were doing that, and they were like writing these really like imaginative and like transporting arrangements of songs, and also like slaying their instruments.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, I think there's a lot more of that now
Yeah,
for people
and
to look up to.
I think one of the things exactly for people to look up to, like you just said, I think that's sort of the key is that what kind of content, and we're in this time where everything's about content, is going to capture the imagination and spark something inside of a young person who's maybe just starting their instrument or just struggling to find like the passion to keep practicing, like the motivation.
Right.
And when you have people like yourselves who have the chops in addition to like that more broad appeal, that to me that's what's so exciting, because you can have sometimes you have just one and not the other. But it's really cool to combine the virtuosity and everything with that stylistic spread. So so I applaud what you're doing, and with that, I think we're going to play a clip of your quartet.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are we going to
think
see?
You guys are going to see actually another arrangement that Genevieve adapted from Natalie Haas and Alistair Fraser. So this is the Celtic Hour. We play more than Celtic music, promise.
We do.
But this is their like banging tune called Quarryman.
Quarryman.
It's a medley of Scottish Celtic music, and it kind of progresses from sort of more like steady to like just rolling it and
just-
rocking. And we're in an unusual location. I'll put it that way.
Okay,
All right.
let's roll the
Roll
clip.
the footage.
Yes. That's
Wow.
awesome. So do you guys exclusively play on the water? Is that like part of your deal?
Yeah, we cannot play on land. No, that was a really fun experiment. We were out in a port one day, while playing for Lincoln Center Stage. We were in the Caribbean, and we knew we wanted to film this video somewhere. We just stumbled upon some guys who had a boat, a small boat. That's not the cruise. That's not the cruise ship.
That's definitely not
Yeah,
the
it didn't look
cruise
like a cruise ship, right?
So they let us play this tune on their ship, on their boat,
and we really had to really find spaces to
really
around our feet
get
because it was rocking.
Yeah.
It was definitely rocking.
That boat was a rockin'.
It was a rockin'.
It was rocking.
Yeah. So, in fact, I was wondering about that too. Even when you were talking about the cruise shows, like, did it take a while to get used to playing on a with your sea legs?
It was pretty easy.
Yeah, the ship is so massive that it doesn't rock so much
big ship.
unless there's like some major turbulence, which there was. Some nights,
There was.
some nights we're playing, and
There was
and
like
the
for
ship
like
is
30
rocking.
seconds, you're like actually just in this position.
Yeah.
And you're
But
just
no,
playing your
like,
concert
no
like that.
disasters.
I mean, we've all heard concerts before that sound like like that,
Yeah.
right?
Seasick.
Yeah. So
No, we
you just
didn't.
don't.
Luckily, didn't have too much trouble. I think it's a very like individual thing. Some people are like, and other people,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah.
For those of you just joining us, we're hearing from the Top alums who happen to be twin sisters, Sabrina and Genevieve Tabby. And that video we watched a moment ago was of their quartet ATLYS. I've got some news to share with you. From the Top is thrilled that we're going to be producing a full season's worth of radio this year. It's going to sound a little different than usual. We won't be up in front of live audiences. We'll be in studios. But it's still going to be the same great content that you've come to expect when you tune in on NPR or on fromthetop.org or wherever you get your podcasts. Once again, we will be awarding the Jack Kent Cooke Young Artist Award Scholarship of up to $10,000 to extraordinary young musicians to help with their musical education. The Jack Kent Cooke Foundation is a hugely important partner of ours. Each year we award $200,000. So please make sure to visit fromthetop.org to make sure you have a chance to win a scholarship, or maybe you know someone who would like to apply and send it their way. The next deadline is September 30th, so it's coming up. Okay, let's get back to our amazing sister musicians. They're with us here. There they are. And I have heard about a dog. Jen, I understand that you have a dog. The dog has made the trip with you to visit sister.
Of course. She hasn't seen her Aunt Sabrina.
Auntie
in a
Sabrina.
while.
Oh,
So
can we meet the dog?
You certainly can meet. This is meet Joni. Joni
She's been here the whole
Joni.
She's been here the whole time. She's
What? Oh my gosh!
oh my.
What a
goodness.
saint! I
know.
haven't even seen her back there.
Like, I'm not joking. Right before this concert started, she just moseyed over onto her bed. Like, right before we started.
Wow, is she amazing or what?
Jen, go
She's
up
like
closer.
she's just like a little baby. Even
I
though
heard
she's
she's-
a dog.
I hear she's been like it really great to have around during all this.
Pets really do save the day for this occasion for sure. For the pandemic, it's
Jen's a
been
sleepy little baby.
she has been my little cuddle monster, and she just likes to. She really is like a companion pup. Like, she'll be right near you when you practice, and when you got to do your work. And yeah, she's awesome. We love her.
Oh,
She's gonna be 9 in October. So
wow.
I adopted her last year, so she was already an older dog, and I think we just totally lucked out because like a lot of people don't necessarily adopt older dogs, but
Yep.
they're really the best. You
She's
know,
so groggy.
she's really groggy right now, but
Oh,
yeah,
thank you for introducing Joni to us.
yeah.
How sweet is
I'll
she?
Put her back. Put her-
Sabrina, I mean, how I know you've got a man that you cuddle with, I guess, but
I do have my own
we met
cuddle
him we met him earlier, your
Yes.
husband, but what else have you been doing to
Well,
kind of help cope
you
through
know,
the pandemic?
It's, the two of us have been pent up here. We usually are traveling so much. In fact, he'll travel half the week, and then I'll be gone the other half the week.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't even be in the same place
I hear
for, days and days. But so now we've been together. We love to cook. So we cook all
Yes.
kinds of food. And if you can see over here to my left, is a stack of board games. We have developed a bit of a passion for board games. Most of these were purchased in the last few months. And actually one of my
Nice.
favorite games is this one here.
Don't say what I think you're gonna say.
What do you,
Yes.
do you know this game?
Pandemic.
Pandemic.
It's just like gruesome to play that game right now.
Oh, I know, but
It's
it's
really
also
good.
like, kind of uplifting.
It's so good, and the strategy is so fun.
Yeah, I know, because it's a cooperative game, not
It
a
is.
competitive game. So you work with your other players, and you have to save the world from disease spreading. And it's it's a wonderful game.
Fauci is a character.
Yeah,
You can have a
right.
little game piece that talks to you. No.
Exactly. I mean, it's kind of fun. Every player gets a role, so you can be like the scientist, you can be the dispatcher, the pandemic expert, or like whatever.
Yeah, quarantine specialist is one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
I swear, like the first week that we were in quarantine, my wife, who's also a musician and from the top alum, Kara, she and I were like, okay, can we play Pandemic, or is it just like too dark?
It's too real.
But we did. We played
Yeah.
it, and it was actually the stakes were like higher, right? It was,
I know,
oh my
right?
God.
And it's
yeah.
not easy.
You
like
don't always
you don't
win.
No.
you don't always win.
You
You've got
don't-
to be
yeah.
really careful and lucky, I think.
You do have to be kind of lucky when you pick those cards.
Yeah.
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 But it's cool.
Wow.
Really cool.
All right. So I apologize for that intense nerd out moment. But hey, board games bring us together in a
Yeah.
time when too many things push us
Exactly, and
apart.
they take
So
us away from
Pets.
the screens all day.
exactly, right? It's so nice to have a break for your eyes from those screens.
Yeah, Joni is
Cool.
spilling out of her bed right now.
She's just
We-
She's so passed
Oh.
out.
totally
She's-
comfortable here.
She's the best.
Precious. You've got one more piece for us before we say goodbye, but I want to let all of you watching know that we're going to have another premiere concert event on October 7th featuring a young violinist and a young cellist who were both part of our program that we taped right before we went into lockdown. The first week of March in LA, we recorded a show at the Wallace in LA with my co-host 𝐒𝐩𝐞𝐜𝐢𝐚𝐥, and that show is going to air for the first time, the beginning of October, and that's when we'll meet these young musicians who are part of the show. So tune in then, and thank you for tuning in tonight. It's been really wonderful to have all of you with us, and we so appreciate you. And thank you so much to the Tabby sisters. You two are fantastic. It's been such a joy to reconnect. I haven't seen you, I don't think, since like our high school days.
Yeah, I don't know. 15 years.
in Philly. So this has really been fun for me, especially. So thanks. And what are we going to hear to take us out of the show?
So this is a piece that I stumbled upon pretty recently. It's from a collection of movements called Danzas Latinoamericanas, Latin American dances. The
Right.
first movement is called Otoño en Buenos Aires, which means autumn in Buenos Aires, kind of like, Vivaldi-esque homage, also Piazzolla.
Right.
And it is actually in the tango style. So this is a version for violin and cello. And the composer is Jose Elizondo. So,
Great.
yeah.
Take it away, you guys.
Here we go.
Can't wait.
Do it.
Sabrina, Tabby on violin, Genevieve, Tabby on cello. Thank you all so much for watching. Bravo,
Thank
you guys.
you.
Beautiful.
A little bow.
Good night.
Bye. Bye. Thank you for
Bye.
watching.